Salon. I think that means thank you. Listening to a lot of Kneecap. And trying to spread the word. Sent it to my best friend, my brother. From another mother. Oh, I gotta send it to my brother. I gotta send it to all my brothers. Kneecap, if you don't know, an Irish-speaking rapping group from the north of Ireland, Belfast. Solidarity with all ya. Bernadette Devlin, Bobby Sands, who else? Solidarity to the Irish in the north. Free Derry. And this group, Kneecap, has been making news. You probably heard of them through their Coachella. Hey, what's up, Black Maryland? How's Germany? Black Maryland, let me ask you, do you know the group Kneecap? The Mad Lads from Northern Ireland? That's all I've listened to. I watched their movie finally on Netflix. Katy Perry creeps me out too. My goodness. And we're gonna get, if you didn't know, so the news has been crazy, and I put a lot of articles. What's up, Zach? How's Croatia tonight, early in the morning? I don't know what time it is there. We're gonna get to Katy Perry. Katy Perry, the teenage dream. She kissed the ground and she liked it. She just went to space, and amongst that news, I'm so glad this got brought to light. She's a real estate bully, apparently. I had no idea. I spent all last night, all today reading about it, learning that California is looking to pass a law called the Perry Act, the Katy Perry Act. I had no idea she was this scummy of a person, and she's married to Orlando Bloom. Extremely disappointed that I supported her. It's 10:10 p.m. in Croatia. Do you know where your kids are? Talk about Trump, please. Oh, God. Listen, I have stuff with Trump. It's Bandito. Thank you. Bandito, here's your Trump recap. Orange Man bad. Donald bad. We're going to get into Katy Perry, and that a nun that she was suing died in the courtroom. I thought that was legend, okay? I read that on the internet, and I said, there's no way there's a hint of truth to that. And then multiple different sources confirmed it. And I thought, oh, my God. I don't know how you feel. I've had my tiffs with nuns, okay? I went to Catholic school in high school. I was raised in Massachusetts. We're all raised Catholic, okay? And I rebelled pretty hard. But my God, if I was in an argument with a nun and she dropped dead, I would have changed my life. I would have taken a hard turn right then and there. I mean, I have, but I'm just saying. Yeah, Bandito, I have so much stuff linked down below, but I don't want to go into it. I want to talk about this Katy Perry thing because it's fun. But Black Maryland out in Germany wants to know what's up with Trump. Let me tell you, today there was an article about Trump pardoning a lady in Nevada. Obviously some hardcore MAGA lady in Nevada who was sentenced to many, many years, maybe even decades in prison. And this lady had done a fundraiser for a cop who died, and she stole the money and used it for plastic surgery. And she was like caught, wire fraud, whatever the charges were. Again, I linked it down below. Chicken Jockey, oh my God, best YouTube name ever. If you don't get it, go look it up. Chicken Jockey. You're gonna throw me off, Chicken Jockey. Ethan, Shasta, Monisha, Igor. Hello to everybody. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm Rob. I do news commentary. I call it newsmentary. I wish YouTube would make a genre of newsmentary. Newsmentary should be its own genre, because when you go to the news, it's all bullshit. It's all commentary anyway. It's all opinion pieces. At least I'm honest with it. Ooh, can I swear yet? Yeah, we're 4 minutes in, okay. But Trump pardoned this lady who, this is how like they have no moral code, they have no ethics, the only thing that matters to them is kiss the ring, bend the knee, As long as you kiss Trump's ass and say what he wants you to back him up on, because he changes his mind so often, that's all that matters to them. And proof is like, they don't care about cops. This lady defrauded a dead cop's family to steal the money and get herself plastic surgery. And he pardoned her. Why? Because she was MAGA. You know, like, there's no party lines. It's just, if you kiss Trump's ass, if you make his butthole pucker with your chapstick, with your cherry chapstick, then that dude will make sure you never get in trouble. Man, I mean, that's where we're at. It's authoritarian rule 101. It is textbook, we got a king again. What happened to the party of law and order? Yeah, that was always a joke. It's just now people are actually getting to see the real-time examples. Very hard not to swear. That's right, Kathy. It's very hard not to. I really appreciated the person that came into my live stream and was like, you use swearing as a crutch. I think they were trying to just critique me on whatever, because whatever we were debating, I don't think, you know, they held their argument held any water. And they just said, you know, you swear a lot and it's a crutch. And I like that, because I was like, you're right. I do swear and it is a crutch. You're 100% correct. And I wish I could not swear. I tell my kids, you know, don't swear. Say something creative. My dad used to go, sugar. Or Sugar Ray Leonard. There's other ones. Shut the front door. But I do swear and it's a crutch. Why you vote this guy? Why, Americans? Black Maryland. I didn't vote for him. I don't think he truly won the election. This is the other thing. For the crowd, the maggots and the Trump Donald supporters that were all like, the elections are rigged, the elections are rigged. I believe that now, because I think Elon and Donald did some funky with the votes in certain hotly contested areas. And then Black Merlin, thank you for subscribing, Angelo Zaccarelli. Oh, that's a cool name. But Black Merlin, the other thing is, if you look up in the American news arena, if you look up, you know, threats to voting locations in America, especially in Georgia and I believe Pennsylvania, just look up, you know, threats made to voting locations during the election. In Democratic areas, there were hundreds and hundreds of people threatening locations that had to be closed down. People were deterred. I mean, there was just foul play left and right. So I don't think that this dude really got it. I think him and Elon were both looking to stay out of jail and stay out of being the broke house. And they did whatever it took. And that's really all it's about for them. Money and power. That's it. They're like a bad rap song. Money, power, without the respect. So yeah, Black Merlin out in Germany. I always love, we got Croatia, Germany in the house. Zach, I forget how to pronounce Zach's real name, but his Americanized name, his government name, Zach, from Croatia, Black Merlin from Europe. So they were asking about a Trump update, and he just pardoned a lady who, if you're a Blue Lives Matter folk, your cause is a joke, because your whole party just abandoned you when they pardoned the lady who robbed a dead cop's family, robbed his funds, the fundraiser she did for him to go get plastic surgery. So it's a joke. You're just mad because you have no money and power. Todd Snodgrass. That's a very Snodgrassian thing of you to say. You know, that's an easy cop-out to just say, well, if you had, but here's the thing, when I did have money and I had the small amount of power that you have when you're on radio and people like you, I didn't abuse it. So I don't understand that. I get that argument all the time. People go, you're just mad because you don't have money, bro. And it's like, I'm just mad, you know, I watch people that I love work really hard and can't afford to live. That's what I'm mad at. Because when I do have money, or if I did have power, I like to help people. You know, like, people act like that's fucking weak, or, well, people love to act like they give to the poor, give to charity. I love this. People love to always pretend like, oh, I give to the poor, I help the needy. But it's like, if we say as a society, let's just make a system that does that, then it's woke and all this. But people love to pat themselves on the back for being good people. But Elon doesn't help people. Just Snodgrass. This is where we're not going to debate. He wouldn't be cutting Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels. Think about the recipients of Meals on Wheels. Think about people who are getting food stamps. Think about people who need Medicaid and Medicare. He's going after the most vulnerable programs in our system, the one that helps the people who need it the most. He doesn't help anybody. He helps himself. Yeah, that's the other thing, Bandito. I forgot about that. Usually when people are like, Elon doesn't help people, it's like, you fucking dummy. He has 15 kids, and 2 of his newborn baby mamas have written him on Twitter. They've written him on Twitter saying, you're not picking up the phone. This is my only avenue. I don't want to go public with it, but we have a medical emergency and I need your authorization. I need your help. I mean, you could just look this is basic shit at this point. Like, you have the internet, you're on here. So just do a little bit of fucking research before you start going, really? Donald doesn't help people? It's like, no. His university that he claimed to teach people how to do real estate is illegal in New York. It was fraud. It's like, they're not allowed to run a charity in New York. I mean, I can't explain to you anymore that these people are the opposite of helpers. They are actively hurting people. But, you know, Tom Snodgrass, you should go to like Jordan Peterson. I'm sure he'll give you some metaphor about a lobster and give you this long drawn out thing about how, well, technically help is cutting everyone's benefits, making them starve to death in the long run. That would help them. How does Jordan Peterson talk? I gotta hear him. This is a no simping zone. Thank you, Bandito. Yeah, Trump definitely helps China and Putin. So listen, let's get to Katy Perry, because that's why we're all here, folks. That's why we're all on this earth. To fucking listen to roar. And that's what bums me out, because my kids like Katy Perry, you know, and now I gotta have that tough conversation, just like I had to have the conversation about Mr. Beast. They started liking Mr. Beast and they said, Dad, does he really help all these people? And I said, well, he helps the ones on video, but he only does it for clicks and views and to get pats on the back. But if you hear what his workers say about him, that they don't get holidays off, they can't spend time with their family, does it really matter? Does it matter if he helps 100 people see again and then hurts 1,000 people working for him? Like, you know, and this is a conversation you have to have. And I'm not here to debate it, but now I got to have the conversation about Katy Perry. You know, is Katy Perry, you might have seen her in the news recently because she did a big PR stunt for Jeff Bezos, and Gayle King and Katy Perry and I don't know who else. The Village People of Women got sent up into space for a minute, and then she came down, she kissed the ground, and she liked it. And within that news, people started going, you know, did you know this about Katy Perry? And they were saying some weird stuff, like she was suing and bullying old people, elders, people that were like 75 or older in Southern California. And she was bullying them through real estate court battles, like suing them. I don't know if and again, I don't know all the details, but from what I've gathered, she and her husband, Orlando Bloom, were looking to purchase, I'm guessing, more land. I've known there's a billionaire in Massachusetts. I've been to his house. He was on our radio show. And people in his neighborhood weren't very happy with him because to build his mega mansion in his neighborhood, he kept having to purchase the houses around him, and then he would continue to build. So, and I didn't stick my nose into that, but I just heard that, you know, people weren't happy because he kept just trying to buy out people in the neighborhood and pay them more than their house was worth. So some people will go, oh, awesome, you got more than your house is worth. But the people that still live there, their house price goes up now and their taxes go up and all this stuff. So the ripple effects for a billionaire wanting more and more houses. And this billionaire from Massachusetts did nothing. He just got born. His dad is a car king. His dad owns a car empire, and he was born into that. So he didn't really do much. He just got to exist and, you know, be a billionaire. He won the birth lottery. So I know that this can happen. These real estate wanting to expand your empire. You know, you have Katy Perry probably has so much of that roar money that her house isn't enough for her. You know, 42 acres isn't enough. She wants 178 acres or whatever. Again, these numbers aren't real. I'm just saying these people have these mega mansions with 16 bathrooms and 42 rooms, and they're like, I just want to buy that other property and expand. I want to turn that into a yard. I want to turn that into my meditation garden. So apparently Katy Perry was trying to buy this nunnery, this religious area, and she had to go through all these things. Again, down below is the linked article so you could read, because I forget the specific titles of where the nuns live and the convent, and there's another part, and she had to find something, one of the pieces of property, she had to like find a different owner or find, you know, a place to rehome or whatever. She didn't do that, so she lost her option to buy, and she sued these nuns, and one of these nuns died in court, in the court battle, which is horrific. Just saying that, I'm like, oh, is lightning gonna strike? Jesus. Like, if that's not a sign, Katy, I don't know what is. So the nun dropped dead because of the stress of Katy Perry suing her. And if you can imagine, these wealthy people can just sue you to no end, you know? If Katy Perry decides to sue you because she wants where you live, you're screwed. She's got that teenage dream money, you know? She's waking up in lawsuit heaven, you know? This broad can sue you to, and think about it, nuns aren't, they don't have a stacked deck. You know, those coffers aren't spilling out these days. So I'm imagining these nuns were probably very, very stressed. No, I'm not a Democrat. No, I am not a part of this political system. I am refuse to be associated with either. Because neither political party, Black Merlin, just so you know, believes healthcare should be a human right. They don't believe housing is a right, water is a right. They don't believe in human rights, neither of the political parties. They believe corporations are people and should dictate the laws. So we just have this weak-ass political system of corporations funding the red and the blue, making the illusion seem like, you know, we have a choice, and we don't. Igor, I like, is that the Kneecap? Is that the Kneecap mascot that you keep tweeting? No, I'm not a Republican. I am not. I'm outside this system because I think our taxes should pay for our health care. I think we should have some kind of representation, and we don't. Corporations spend as much money as they want to write the laws that the politicians just put their Herbie Hancock on. So Katy Perry has sued nuns, one dying in court, for their land. And then, apparently, she wanted this other guy's house. He had bought this home for like 11 million. She offered to pay 15 or 20 million, you know, so she was going to pay over. And he was an old dude, over 75 or some ish like that. And when he had signed the deal, he had said, I had just come back from surgery. I was out of my mind. I wasn't sound body and mind. You know, I was under duress. He went, and they went to court because Katy Perry wasn't having it. She said, no, I want your land. They went to court. The judge found him to be of sound body and mind. And through all this, and again, mind you, in the two cases that I've mentioned, Katy Perry is not going after young people. She's not going after, you know, it seems very particular that old people who might not have the means and the ends and the representation to fight a lengthy court battle, meaning their time and their money is running out, like nuns and this old guy who just had a back surgery. And she's going after them. So with all that, there's this act trying to be pushed through, or that came into fruition, called the Perry Act, as in the Katy Perry Act. I wish, oh, the mind, gross. I wish they had called it, you know, the I Kissed the Contract and Regretted It Act, or they did a parody off one of her songs, Elder Nightmare, instead of Teenage Dream. But the Perry Act would, if passed into law, would give anybody older than 75 years So if you're older than a senior citizen, if you're 75 years or older, it would give these people 72 hours after getting into a contract, a real estate contract, to back out with no repercussions. Because once you sign that, I mean, this is one of the things where, again, I've experienced enough of America where I go, well, contracts only pertain to like poor people. Because I've seen rich people and I've seen corporations say, yeah, we don't care that that's a signed contract. It's happened to me. Like, they're like, we just don't care. What are you going to do? You don't have the resources to go to court. So contracts really only pertain to poor people or working people, because rich people can just make a mockery out of it. But, you know, that would be cool if they had something to protect older people from signing something and then, you know, having regrets, especially with all the different ailments that you have in old age. I think this would be beneficial, but it's just shocking, absolutely devastatingly shocking to think that now when you hear the song Roar or I Kissed a Girl or Teenage Dream or Waking Up in Vegas, or I don't know her other ones, any of those pop anthems, you're not going to be able to think about a nun dying in court because Katy Perry was suing her. That's insane. I should make a music video. I should make a parody music video of one of her songs. I should make a parody Katy Perry song where the nun dies in a courtroom. Weird Al, where are you? Please talk about hard facts, not Katy Perry. This is a hard fact. Black Merlin, you got to understand what's going on. The wealthy are even bullying old people. That's the other thing. When people say like, oh, you know, Donald is very rich, he wouldn't steal from me. I go, are you joking? Katy Perry has money till no end. Katy Perry's not hard up for cash. I'm sure she has a beautiful, nice, big house. And she's suing nuns for their land. And these nuns are dying in court, you know? Like, the greed is vicious. That's why it's one of the 7 deadly sins. Charlie Chapman monologue I posted on Discord. No, I will. I meant to check Discord earlier. I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, we do have a Discord, link down below. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm Rob. I do newsmentary. That's news commentary. I really wish YouTube would, when you go to YouTube and you go to the side, the genres, they have like trending, news, sports, entertainment, podcast, or I don't know what else. But I wish they would have newsmentary, news commentary. It's very simple because I do watch the news, the trending pages, and the news is not the news. Hardly ever do I see news just saying this is what happened. Most of the time it's all opinion pieces. Like Ben Shapiro is the funniest because he does not report on anything. Everything he does is a hypothetical. Let's say this. Let's say this. It's all opinion slated stuff based on the news. Caroline Taylor, yo. Sorry, you talk nonsense. My apologies, Black Merlin. My apologies. It's the only thing I'm good at, talking nonsense. Igor, are you confused? I've just seen so many different things. No, he doesn't. Oh, I thank you, Carolyn. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm here every single weekday. I just released a video on Tony Robbins. What was the other thing? You know, this RFK registry, he wants to start a national registry and steal people's health data because you would have to get consents to get people's, like, we have pretty strict laws here in America for privacy regarding your health data, which, by the way, I have a question to ask you after. And RFK, it's so funny. He wants to start, like, the irony of this administration and the hypocrisy just is never ending. Because RFK Jr., who runs the health department here in America, which is a fucking joke, a former heroin addict, 14 years a heroin addict, who has no medical degree and has a law degree, probably from his family's name. Where is that Kennedy curse? Anytime now. But the leader of the health department regime here in America wants to start a registry for people with autism and wants to get people's health data without their consent, which is just absolutely insane. You know, that is insane. You should have some kind, they should have to get your consent to get your health information. That is a huge violation. And the fact that he's saying that RFK is just saying that, like, matter of fact, it just shows you how entitled these rich folks are. But I wonder if that registry, because if you don't know, RFK, who leads the health department here in America, I can't believe that. Robert Kennedy Jr. Oh my God. I can't believe that that's a real thing. Anyways, that guy said people with autism will never date, pay taxes, something else. He went on this tirade, which was just really heinous. He says some heinous stuff. There's some things that are just heinous. But the whole time you're thinking, does RFK know that, like, Elon Musk is autistic? Or that's what Elon claims, that he's on the spectrum? And I'm like, so Elon doesn't have to pay taxes? We know he avoids them, but, like, Elon's on the spectrum and he pays taxes. We don't know if he's ever been on a date, but Elon has like 15 children that he doesn't care for. So it's weird that RFK will go and say this stuff while there is another person in the same regime who has autism, is on the spectrum, is an illegal immigrant here in America, Elon Musk from South Africa, who's on the spectrum, while people are like, I don't know what your thoughts were on RFK saying that. I just thought he's a heinous person. And I just thought, I wonder if the Kennedy curse is still a thing. Because the way he talks about people is just like, F this dude. He's so entitled. But it was just funny because I'm like, is he going to put Elon on that national registry? Is he just not aware? Does he live in a little bubble? La 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 lava, chicken. Ooh, it's lava chicken, yeah, you're gonna love it. Ooh, mamacita, now you're hitting the button. I don't know how it goes, but thank you, Undersky. Chicken jockey. So anyway, so with your consent, I don't know in Germany, Black Merlin, or in Croatia, Zach, if you guys have strict laws protecting your health information, your privacy around your health documentation. But here in America, we kind of do, or we're supposed to. There was a point where all the Republicans were yelling, you can't do that, HIPAA. HIPAA is like the Health Information Privacy Act or something like that. And Bandito, I'm not going to say that, but yeah. But we're supposed to have our medical data protected here in America. And in the news, link down below, if you haven't heard, and you have Blue Cross Blue Shield as an insurer, they should not exist, and their CEO, Martin Malkovic, or whatever his name is, they had a huge data leak, and they're just starting to let people know that your personal information might have been leaked. But it wasn't really leaked, and the language is kind of odd, because when you read what actually happened is Blue Cross Blue Shield had teamed up with Google AdSense. That's where Google will mine data from whatever you're doing online, and they'll put ads. They'll put targeted ads with that data that they mined from your business, and they'll give you a cut of the ad money. And it turns out that with Blue Cross Blue Shield, they were trying to make that Google AdSense money, and they were leaking your private health medical data to Google AdSense. And they said, it shouldn't be like credit card information. Blue Cross Blue Shield, the insurer, if you have them and you get an alert that says your payment information might have not got hacked, but different personal information might have got leaked to Google AdSense. So we're sorry. And they tell you maybe get a free credit report. They don't even offer to give you a free credit report. They say just maybe get one in case they did get your other personal information. But I thought, hey, what's up, Kevin? Thank you for the email the other day, by the way. I meant to tell you thank you. The Black Michael Jackson. God, I love YouTube. Oh, man, this is a fun little platform we have here, guys. Join the family, join the community. I'm Rob. I do news commentary, newsmentary. But so anyway, so I'm talking about this Blue Cross Blue Shield insurer. They should not exist. That should not exist. Gatekeepers to health insurance should not exist. But they do here in America. Blue Cross Blue Shield leaked data to Google AdSense to allow Google to specifically target you with ads. And that is a huge violation because they are a medical data company. They have a lot of people's medical, specifically medical data, not just your name and your date of birth and your payment information, but like very specific things to your health. And that should be more protected. And they leaked it. And I wonder, thank you for subscribing. And I was wondering how other people feel about this. Because I think the CEO who was in charge of Blue Cross Blue Shield, well, this data was leaked to make money from Google AdSense. I thought they should be held accountable. Because if anybody else did it, you know, you would be seen in a court of law. Well, I guess due process doesn't really exist in America anymore. But let's pull a Ben Shapiro. Let's say, hypothetically, do you think CEOs should have to be accountable for their actions that they had in their company under their reign? I don't see why CEOs get off the hook and get to hide behind an entity, an LLC or an incorporated entity, and there's no trouble. I think the only way that because they're not going to learn their lesson from a fine. If you punish them with a fine, they consider that the cost of doing business. They go, well, we just have to pay this much if we leak data. But if we're leaking data to Google AdSense and making double what the fine is, then it works out. We're making money. And they can break the law. I think the only way, and I'm sure there's other countries that do this. I think Iceland or Greenland, I think it was Iceland when their bankers collapsed their financial system in 2008. I think they sent their CEOs to jail. And that's one way to teach them a lesson. I mean, Americans love to say, send them to jail, teach them a lesson. You know, you can't do the time, don't do the crime. But they never apply that to CEOs. So I'm a staunch believer in holding the CEO who is in control of that company, who had the oversight. They were the overseers of the company at the time, to hold them accountable and bring them into court and give them jail time and see if that company does it again. And for all the people, because I hear this too, I go, why are CEOs paid so much? And they go, they have to run the business. They have to know all this stuff. But it's amazing that those people disappear when I go, well, they should be accountable for this. They like to go, oh, well, it's just, the company. It's hard to run a business like that. If you're a CEO and you're getting paid millions of dollars in stock options and all these things that aren't taxed, and you're running a company that is breaking the law, I think you should be accountable. You should be dragged into court, and you should have to face the punishment. You shouldn't get to hide behind a LLC or an incorporated entity. What do you guys think? Because the lobbyists write the laws. Yep. I pay €250 for the free health per month. Damn, that's a good price. Well, in Black Merlin, remember, when I say free health care, I technically don't mean free. I mean our tax money being used to provide health coverage. And again, if I could just pay $250 a month, what are your co-pays? What do you pay when Black Merlin? If you pay $250 a month, when you go to see a doctor, what do you have to pay? Because my co-pays are $30 to see a doctor. Way more than $250 a month. But if I just want to go to the doctor, I also have to pay $30. Well, and it depends though, because it could be 50, it could be 30. So is it 250 and you can go to the hospital, you can go to the doctor? Because if we go to the hospital, that's a separate bill, not even covered. That's thousands of dollars. How much is it for an ambulance ride? Because I think those are running $5 to $7 grand here in America. Hold them accountable like everybody else, G-Ma. I appreciate that. CEOs never get in trouble because they're acting on behalf of the shareholders. I say the day that we could get the board and the CEOs to be accountable in a court of law, you'll see things change in this country. We pay for that insurance that doesn't cover everything and only a network. Exactly. I don't even think people in other countries would understand what in-network means. Most Americans probably don't even understand until they got to go through that. In-network means the insurer decides what doctors they're going to work with. It's almost like a mafia. It really is almost like a mafia. It's fucking crazy. And if you talk to doctors, I got a few friends who are doctors, you talk to them, they're like, these insurance companies are the mafia. Man, disappointing. Dia. Hi, Porterman. Love from India. Namaste. Dia, how is India right now? From what I've read, man, tensions are high between India and Pakistan. And that is scary, man. I hope everything calms down on your side of the world. I hope you guys are safe. And I hope, escalations can not be as high. And I say that as somebody who living in America right now, in a high tension society with a fascist regime, it is stressful, man. I was just reading an article from NPR. Oh, article down below. I forgot I linked it. This article from NPR today talks about how there is a scientist, I think it was a Harvard scientist, who has been in a detention center in Louisiana for 2 months. A scientist from another country has been in an American immigration detention center for 2 months. Because when they were flying in, they were doing, research, some kind of highfalutin research, some crazy research, and they had frog embryos. But because they were from another country, this regime locked them up. Now, I don't think there was anything malicious in what the scientist was doing. And from the article I read at NPR, they said they just didn't know how to declare it, but they did not declare the frog embryos. But we have the 14th Amendment. I believe it's the 14th, which it says, you are not allowed to have cruel and unusual punishment here in America. And that can also, precedent, I believe, states that cruel and unusual punishment in America can mean the crime doesn't, the time doesn't fit the crime. Now, frog embryos, you should not be locked up for 2 months in a detention center. And NPR wrote this whole article on it. And the title of the article was like, this scientist been locked up for 2 months in a detention center, and it's making other scientists rethink coming to America. And I was like, NPR, this is the problem. Instead of drawing a headline that's saying people are worried to come to America, why don't you target Americans with your headline saying, is this a clear violation of the 14th Amendment? Is this cruel and unusual punishment, which should not be done to people here in this country? Is this regime violating our rights? And NPR's like, the whole narrative was like, yeah, a scientist has been locked up for 2 months, but could other scientists not want to come to America? It was like a BuzzFeed fucking list. I was like, that's weak shit. And then I had all these other people commenting underneath it saying, this government doesn't care about our rights. We have no say. You just got to wait till the next election. And I'm like, you fucking morons. We have the power. And I'm tired of people saying, like, there's nothing we could do. We have the power. Elon Musk said, I'm going to step back because he's a weak-ass, bitch-made billionaire oligarch who doesn't like when people stand up to him. These bullies like Donald and Elon, they want to bully without any kind of recourse or resistance. That's how these weak, fragile, ego, greedy people work. They want to bully you. And as soon as you push back and say, we're not going to stand for that, you can't just come in here and talk to me like that, they start to go, oh, we're going to get some pushback. And they're not truly strong men. These aren't like toughened, hard as nail, iron sharpened iron, weathered through the hardest storms. These are Nepo babies. These are rich kids that grew up bragging. Donald Trump bragged about having a golden toilet. Elon Musk bragged about going to school with emeralds in his pocket and then tried to erase it from the internet. Like, these kids didn't have a hard time. They fucking had it made, but they were just dickheads, so nobody liked them. So now that they have all the power and all the money, they want to bully everybody. They really just want to be liked, but they're going about it the wrong way. You know, they think power is how you get the respect, but they don't understand. They just get in fear. And all these people, when I said NPR, change your headline. Like, that should be clearly discussing, you know, is this a huge violation of rights to have somebody locked up for 2 months over undeclared frog embryos? Never mind what other scientists are going to come. Who gives a shit? You know, you're missing you're missing the fucking plot here, NPR. And people were like, oh, we can't do anything. We can't do anything. And I'm like, guys, stop thinking like that. If we're organized and we're united and we're standing together, we have the power. Why do you think they're trying to bully us? Why do you think they're trying to strip us of our rights? Why do you think they're taking these measures? Because they know how much power we have, and they're hoping to scare enough people off into thinking you can't do anything. But that is wrong. Interesting, Black Merlin. Okay, I pay $17.7 for my Bruto to health. Wait, yes, all for free. Oh, so we were talking earlier, Black Merlin. You said you pay $250 a month for your free healthcare in Germany. And I said, well, what does ambulance ride cost? What does it cost when you go to see the doctor? What does it cost when you have to see a specialist? And you said those are all free. Because I said here in America, if I want to see a doctor, $30. If it's a different doctor, $50. If it's a hospital, could be a couple grand. If it's an ambulance ride, thousands. So that's cool to know. And 15% for work of, I don't know the word, insurance. 15%. So wow, so it's a straight number. That's cool. See, there's other systems that have it figured out. And Black Merlin, if something happened to you, do you have to write a third party, like an insurance company, a gatekeeper, to get approval to have that procedure done? Because here in America, a doctor can tell you, you have to have this done. You need this. Your health is dependent on this procedure. And they have to get it cleared by insurance. And insurance in America will say, no, we're not paying for it. Even though a doctor recommends it, these gatekeepers, these insurers in America will say, no, you don't need it. And the doctor will fight them. This happens all the time. And people die from it here in America. Like, people are dying in America from things that we've cured long ago just because the insurer doesn't want to pay. I mean, the system is screwed on all different levels. If you need test or MRI, more money. Yup, 100% Alma. Sup, monkeys? What's up, Gorilla Tag? Ruthless. Hello. Oh, greetings from Ireland. Slan. Is it Slan? Slanch? Mr. Shano1, where in Ireland do you listen to Kneecap? My new favorite band. Kneecap, the boys from Belfast. What is the word for no work insurance? Well, we, see, that's a weird one here in America, because there really isn't no insurance you can have without work. States have gotten like a Medicare program, or a Medicaid program where it's run through the state. And there's no real work requirement, but that's only in my state. There are other states that have a work requirement to get on the state healthcare. But more importantly, here in America, to get this insurance that we're talking about, you have to work. That's the only way you get it. You get it through a job. So you can't not work and have insurance. Cobra. Well, Cobra's, yeah, but I don't know. Even when I got, my contract wasn't renewed, I couldn't even afford Cobra. Like, Cobra is so expensive, you might as well die. Mr. Shano, Donegal, Ireland, we say, Didu? For hello, it means God be with you. How do you pronounce it? I wish I could have you on. Because I know, and Mr. Shano, before I really got into Kneecap, the Irish rap group, my daughter, my wife, you know, our whole lineage through Ireland, they're obsessed with like a lot of Irish folklore, legends, all like the Selkies, and I'm trying to think what else. But my daughter always watched these Irish movies growing up, and she named all of our animals, almost all of our animals. Some animals that we have are named in honor of people we've lost, but our other animals are named like Saoirse, which is spelled totally crazy. So I know the spelling doesn't usually match how it sounds. Ireland is beautiful. Lucky to have gone twice. I've never been. I've been to England twice, but still want to go to Ireland. I had the chance to go to Ireland through the radio once, anyways, that's a different story. 67% from last work you become in Germany, 12-month loan. It's fascinating. I watched Say Nothing on Hulu. That led me down the Kneecap path. Oh, awesome. What is Say Nothing? I don't know that. I'll watch it, Alma. Yeah, I get that. Our names are impossible. Well, plus, so, Mr. Shano, I'm in Massachusetts. So, like, I have friends who name their kids, like, Declan, and I grew up with a lot of people with the surname Chatton, or Oh This, or Oh That, or McDa, or, like, well, I'm not going to give you any of the last names in my family, but they're very, very Irish last names. So I think around Boston and Massachusetts, we have a high concentration of understanding a little more Irish stuff. But about Dolores Price, she lived in the Northern Ireland in the 60s. Oh, Dolores Price. Interesting. I'm going to watch that. Say Nothing. I wish they would. I don't know if there's a movie on Bernadette Devlin McAllister, but I wish they would do a movie on her. She was one of my favorite. Every St. Patrick's Day, my buddy Paul, who I gotta have on the live stream. You'd love him. He does a radio show. He's a wicked smack guy, and he turned me on to Bernadette and what she talked about. And she talked about how the Irish here. She said the Irish in Ireland are very disappointed with the Irish in Boston, learning that they're oppressing the black man here, especially if they know their history and they know where they come from and the oppression they faced from the colonizers. And to learn that the Irish immigrated here, most of them for the potato famine, through oppression from the English colonizers, to learn that they would move to Boston and then try to become the oppressors for the black folks that lived in Boston. She spoke out in the 60s, and she talked a lot about that. She's a very important figure, very important activist. She did a lot in Ireland too, and she got the key to the city in New York and gave it. They awarded her, Bernadette Devlin McAllister, they awarded her the key to the city in New York, and she turned around and gave that key to the Harlem Black Panthers, I believe, which is a huge statement. So I wish there was a documentary. I've watched some stuff, but I don't think there's any like big official movie. I'd love to see that. But Mr. Shano, good to have you here. Thank you. I appreciate you stopping by. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is awesome. We got someone from Ireland in here, from Germany, from Croatia. I don't know where my homies in Egypt are. And we got people, man, just across the globe. I love this. This is the great. Dareen, who's out in France. And that's the other thing. There's another Irish comedian that I just found. He only has like 300 something subscribers, but he's doing great commentary, comedic, satirical. That's the other thing. I really like the English Irish wit and humor. Like, I watch that English and Irish TV shows more than I would do any kind of American shows. But I tried to reach out to other people, and I reached out to this dude who I stumbled across one of his shorts, and he was commenting on RFK and the autism thing. And I left him in the comments. I said, hey, I do a live stream, a news commentary live stream. I'd love to have you on. So, I think it's important to connect with other people. And my platform is always open to discuss and to come up with better ideas and to organize and to unify as a people against any kind of oppression. Want invaded Ireland. No. I don't know what that means. Hi. Igor. Okay, so I think we take my son to the doctor. Peace out, familia. Bandito, good luck. Hopefully it's just a routine thing. Much love, much respect. And maybe we can catch up on Discord. I'll go check your Discord thing, Bandito. I'll reach out to you on Discord this weekend. I was meaning to go on there today. I'll reach out this weekend. Maybe we can connect on Fortnite, play some Fortnite. I haven't been on Fortnite in forever. Maybe you, me, and Solus can get a Fortnite game going. But thanks for stopping by, Bandito. Always good to see you. Much love. Give my love to your family. And hopefully, if I don't see you, have an amazing weekend. Learn Dog Bit Maldouche. Is that German? I tried, listen, Duolingo. I have a few different languages. Swahili, Danish, Irish, and what's the other one? What's the other one? I think Hawaiian and Latin. But Hawaiian I took in college. And Danish, I just want to move there. But maybe I'll have to learn some German. I wish I could speak many languages. But Mr. Shano, I don't know if you know the group Kneecap. Again, this is what we were talking about earlier when you first stopped by. Kneecap, they rap in Irish. Is it Gaelic? Is that what it's called? Gaelic? But they rap speaking in the Irish language, which is so amazing. It's so amazing to see an indigenous language survive through a medium, through an art form that has always been there to speak truth to power, to speak out, to be an amplifying microphone for the oppressed. So it's absolutely amazing to see what Kneecap's doing. Plus, they have a movie on Netflix, which is just hilarious. Again, I don't know what it is, but any kind of UK, Ireland, not Scottish. Scottish is so hard for me to understand when they're speaking English. I love the Scots. I do, but goddamn, they're hard to understand. No offense, I love them. Please learn German. Nein. I will. I'll try. Black Merlin for you. See what I'm willing to do. All right, guys, I got to wrap it up. I posted a lot of news down below. The Katy Perry stuff was obviously the highlight of the news for me, because while people are celebrating her going to space, which, mind you, Katy Perry being flown to space with Gayle King, that's just a PR stunt. You know what I mean? Like these billionaires, they don't want to go to any other planet. They love it here. They're having the time of their life. They're trying to sell you on this idea so they can get government money. They can get all our tax money, and none of it will go to help us or our roads or our health or our society or our services or the post office. They want all of it to spend on making rockets that will never take us to another planet. Why would you want to go? Have you ever seen what Mars looks like? It's a dusty red rock. Fuck that. Elon, if you want to go to Mars, go ahead, bro. No one's stopping you. Get in one of your rocket ships and get the fuck out of here. But I love Earth. I haven't even seen all of Earth. That's how you know they're such entitled dipshits. It's like they've seen all of this planet where they're like, fuck this. Let's go to a red dusty rock. It's like, go. I want to go to Ireland. I want to go to Africa. I want to go to India. I want to go to China. I want to go to Japan. I want to go to all these places that I've never. Bali. We had somebody in here from Bali the other day. You know, that's how you know they are absolutely entitled and ungrateful for this planet. Because I'm sure there's enough people just in this live stream that probably have not seen a location that would love to. It's like when I live stream from downtown Salem, people are like, oh, that's rad. That's cool to see. It's very quaint New England. It's what you think of when you think of like old, quaint New England village town. You know, we still have some of that history preserved here. We have houses from 200-300 years ago, you know, is almost as old as the country. Jackson, Wyoming is one of the most beautiful places I'd love to go out there. I would love to go to the Badlands. I drove through New Mexico and wanted to stop so bad, but we were being chased by a storm and I had to drive across the rest of the country. I'd love to see New Mexico and the art out there. The Pacific Northwest, never been, and that is a dream location. If this channel gets big, we're doing a live stream and we're going on the road to the Pacific Northwest. I want to take my family. I want to see an orca, a wolf, and a raven all in one location. The American rainforest up in Seattle and Oregon. God, I want to see the redwoods. Like, there's so many beautiful things, and these people are talking about space like they're bored of Earth. God, I could never be bored of this planet. It's so beautiful. We need to preserve this planet, folks. Wait, are you in the Bandito? You're in the Pacific Northwest. No wonder we're brothers from another mother. I did not know that. If I come, well, yeah, are you kidding? 100%. Black Merlin, good to see you. Respect, much love. Be safe out in Germany. Washington State. Well, I'll tell you what. Just last year, I almost had a radio show, or almost became part of a radio show. They fired the guy. I knew that was coming. I was like, let me come and save your job. I was like, really? Your show's not good. Let me help. But people are scared to say shit on the air, and nobody has reads anymore, and they just all go, I don't know, and think it's funny. And it's weak. But I was trying to get a radio show. I don't know if you hear Sarah in the mornings. I forget, it's a Clear channel or iHeart station. I don't know if she's still on. She is not funny. She's an asshole, from what I gauged, and she just seems uptight. But she was on with Danny Bonaducci, and then my buddy was on the show with her, and I was trying to get a job with them, and they said no. Everybody liked me. Everybody wanted to hire me except her. She wouldn't even listen to my stuff. She wouldn't even talk to me. Everybody else gave me the time of day, talked to me, did an interview. She just ignored me. So fuck you, Sarah. And you're not good on the air. I think that's what it is. Some people get threatened because I'm not scared to not say shit, which she absolutely was. And when you toe the line, listen, if you say controversial stuff, this is what I learned. When you say controversial stuff, guess what? People are going to hate you, but you're also going to get people to listen just because you're saying stuff that other people aren't saying. But when you just do this tiptoe the line, sitting on the fence, it's just, you're not supposed to do that in radio. Okay? Howard Stern didn't get huge because he towed the line. All right? You're supposed to, and I just wanted to help them, you know? And it was really disappointing that this lady, Sarah, who's still in the air in Seattle, wouldn't even take the time to have a phone call with me. Her boss spent almost an hour and a half on the phone with me and emailed with me. The guy I knew, I'm not going to say his name, but he was gracious. I think he didn't want me there either. I think people sometimes don't want to be shown up. And it's not saying that I'm great or nothing, but it's like, I do a live stream every day. I have no problem reading a lot and tackling topics and saying shit that's, you know, not going to be liked. I'm okay with that. I'm very much okay with that. And their show is very much like, let's just try to be likable, because I think Sarah didn't have a very likable personality. And that's not even my opinion. I had many people that I trust listen to the show for me to get their feedback. This is what I do when I go through the interview process. I will have other people listen to it and go, tell me what you think. Tell me what it's missing. Tell me what, you know, your gauge on this. What's the vibe? What's the aura they're putting off? What's their soul animal? What's their spirit animal? I will go deep into it. I will research for weeks. And I'm not kidding, because I'm very serious. This is my profession, radio, and I love it. I don't want this to die out, and I want it to stay local. And I don't know if Sarah's still in the air. The last time I checked, they fired the guy, and I knew that was coming. I did all but tell him that. I was like, please, I will work so hard. I'll make sure you keep your job. And I knew they were going to fire him. I knew it, because I was like, this show's no good, man. You know, and you have competition. Seattle is an amazing, that's the other thing. Seattle's such an amazing market to have a radical voice. I mean, fuck, they're just doing such a disservice to, you know, that scene, the Seattle scene. So I really tried to get this job. That's all I've tried to do. I've almost had 2 radio show jobs in Seattle, and I would love to work in that market. I never got to. I've worked Boston, Hawaii, San Diego, and I would absolutely give anything to have. Seattle was amazing in the 90s. My God, Nirvana, Kurt Cobain. It's the mecca of grunge and punk and cool radio and underground radio. Sarah sounds like my old boss. Where Bandito? I lived in Seattle and Renton. Oh, I was looking at places in Renton. And that's the other thing. Seattle has some of the most beautiful landscapes, beautiful homes. It's almost New English. It's like a punk version of New England. It's like a punk hippie version. Mr. Shane 01. I was in Seattle 6 years ago, seen the redwoods. Oh, I've never seen the redwoods. That's the other thing I'm desperate to see. I want to bring my kids and see these dinosaur trees so badly. That's all I want. I want to give my kids that experience. I want my kids to go and see that and just know, like, this planet is so fucking amazing. It's so beautiful. Are you the type of guy to go out and look out for a struggling? Corey, let me explain to you what kind of boss I am. Let me explain to you. Before I was going for this job, I was working in Boston radio, and they hired me to help them because the guy who's still on the air at a different station now, he's an asshole. He's a racist. He got into a big shindig. I made a video about it. I think it got taken off YouTube. I think I got a something for that on YouTube, but I called it the racist hunter. Crikey, the racist hunter. And I even said on the air with this guy, Greg Hill, Boston radio, sports radio. He's a fucking numbskull. He's such a racist. He's like a Trump guy. He is a Trump guy. Him and this billionaire had a fundraiser for Trump at the billionaire's house. But they're very much like, they play coy, but they're very malicious. And they would do racist shit on the air. And I have a radio clip of me in my email that says, it's a clip of me. I saved the clip because I knew my time wasn't long there, because this guy was just threatened by me every day. arguments, but it made for great radio. Not gonna lie, we did make good radio. I brought him once I arrived in Boston. Within 1 year, I helped him get to #1, and I didn't do it alone, but I helped him. He would never tell you that I helped him, but within a year, his show was #1 after my addition. But I have a clip of me saying, thank you for perpetuating racism in our city of Boston because of the shit he did. They just did absolutely heinous stuff. It was hard to go on the air every day. And the women that worked for him, I mean, the stuff they told me, the stuff people would say when he would leave was just devastating. Like the guy who left, he left radio to start a trash company. And they said he would be in the back studio till like 3 a.m. or like, midnight or something, come back at 3 a.m. and just be in tears, like hating his life. And that's why he quit to start a junk removal company. That's how awful he was to work for. He was just miserable. And this guy, like, he didn't, like, one day on the air, I said, you sound like somebody who's lived in the same town for 50 years. Because he did. His parents were rich. His grandparents were rich. He came from the same town, never moved out of it, never experienced the world, never had any kind of struggle, and was just ungrateful and threatened by anybody who was fucking real. And when I was working at that job, I was allowed to hire people because I was the on-air producer, but I was also the manager of that morning show. So they gave me the liberty to hire people. So I post ads. I hired a bunch of guys. I had like 6, 7 people at one point. When they fired me, I think I had 7 people on my team. And I had taken one guy who was already working at the station. Okay, guy #1 already working at the station, making $10 an hour. I hired another guy, and just because when I hired him, the boss said you can hire him for $11 an hour. And I said okay. And I always encourage people to tell each other what you make. I'm that boss. Speak about it. I can't say it for you, but if you guys speak about it, I say, yep, that's true. So they were talking about it, and they came to me and they said, I've been here. The guy #1 said, I've been here longer. Okay. I've been working for this company for a long time. This is what I want to do. I'm dedicated. I love this. And why am I making $1 less? And I've been here longer and put in more time than a guy who just got hired. And I said, you're right. That's fucked. And I said, let me see what I could do. So emailed the big boss of the station, said I need to talk to you about this, it's very important. And I went in and I presented the case for him. And I said, this guy's been here for a long time. You know the quality of work he's done. I said, his stuff is on air all the time. He helps me. He's an amazing addition to the show. I think he has potential to go farther than it. And I said, and I don't want to lose him. I said, let's give him $1 raise. And the boss, Ron Valeri, who's a fucking cunt, said, no, we're not doing it. And I said, that's stupid. It's $1. I said, that's nothing to this company, but it's everything to him. And it's not even much. It was $1. You know what I mean? Like $1, guys. It's $1 for a very talented individual. Even though this kid hates me now because I eventually fired him. He stopped showing up. He wasn't even calling in. And one day he said he was going to be there, didn't show up. And I said, you're gone. So he's hated me ever since. Which I don't know why, Josh. I fought for you. I think you're a funny kid. I still support you if I could. But I don't know. I had to fire you. You can't just not show up. Like you're pushing me as a boss. I was nice. I'll always have your back. But let's be real. If you just stop fucking showing up on time and not calling, like, bro, there's a responsibility. But before that happened, before I fired him, which he was really mad about that, which I get it. But again, like, don't take my kindness for stupidity. So when I was in meeting with the big boss, I said, just do it. This is $1, and this is way more worth the dollar. Like the return on investment is amazing on this. And he said, no. He said, we can't do it. And I said, but we just hired a guy for $1 more. And this guy's new. Well, this guy's put in his time, energy, effort, and proven himself and is making $1 less. I said, none of this makes sense. And he said, no. And I said, I'll tell you what, take a fucking $1 out of my salary and give it to him. And he said, no, we won't do that. And I said, take it. I said, all right, the fucking the finance guy. I said, all right, the dude who's down in the HR department, tell him, just take $1 off my salary. I don't give a shit. I want it to go to this dude. And they fought me tooth and nail. And I lost that one. And he couldn't have the $1. And then, of course, he started just showing up late, not calling, not letting us know. And I had to fire him. But what do you expect? Like, I don't even blame him. It's just when I'm in radio, I have to run, a show. So have you ever had a hard time firing someone because you felt bad? 100%. I had so much trouble firing this dude. I didn't even want to. I don't want to fire people, especially when I understand where they're coming from. That's the other part. You got to remember, like, this dude just wanted $1. It's fucking dumb in the scheme of things. Especially when they're dragging us into meetings. They had company-wide meetings saying our station was billing for commercials at an all-time high because of our numbers, their rating. They mentioned me by name in that meeting. And so with the addition of this guy. So when you're working there and you just want $1 and you're hearing like they're billing at an all-time high, you're like, fuck this noise, man. And you know, and it degrades on, it erodes your soul, and you start doing stupid shit. So I got it. You know, that's the other thing. Like, I get it. It's hard for me to blame workers when they're underpaid, understaffed, overworked. You know, like, I'm like, these CEOs are making billions. CEO pay, Wall Street expectations, stock buybacks are the reason everything's unaffordable. It's insane, you know, that the greed of these people who don't have to worry about shit. They don't worry about the price of egg, rent, heat. You know, they don't worry about any of that. And then somehow you look at the workforce and you blame people at McDonald's for getting your order wrong. It's like they're understaffed, they're overworked, they can't afford rent. This is their second or third job. It's like, I can't blame them. Yes, it sucks, but they're not the problem in society. The problem is the greed at the top, the people who are hoarding all the wealth. So that's the kind of boss I am, Corey Walton. Sorry to go on that tirade. I was just about to wrap up. A boss should be empathetic. I believe so, but I don't know. It depends. You know, it depends who you're asking. Because I'm not a boss now anymore. And even at the work I work at now, when they were like, oh, you should be a boss, I was like, you can't afford me, you know? Because it's not even about the money. It's like when you're a boss, a manager of people, what you're really paid for in America is to implement the corporate say-so with no questions asked. You're just there to be a stooge for the man. But that's not how a good company is run. And I know that because I've run very good teams of people. And when people are respected, heard, and put into their specialty is nurtured, and they're given space to bloom, you get this dynamic team. And corporate America doesn't want to do that. They just want to exert power, and managers are just, you tell them what to do, tell them, yeah, we'll hear their questions, they can write down anything, but really they don't give a shit. And that is not how you run. That's not how you manage people. That's what management is. You're managing people. I'd love to have your mind in the construction field. We'd appreciate you. Corey, that's where I got my start. my dad had a construction company. And I witnessed people that loved my father. Loved my father. My father hired felons. He hired immigrants. He hired anyone. He started it with his brother, just him and his brother. And he always went out of his way for the people who were working, because he understood. But my parents came from poverty backgrounds, so they understood that struggle and they were empathetic to it. And in construction, I mean, the funniest guys I've ever worked with in my life. I worked on radio where they were paid to be funny, and they held not even a fucking candle to the guys in construction. In fact, when I would say some of the things I learned from construction on the air, people would die. They were like, where did you even hear that? Construction in Boston, you'll never hear funnier people. But Corey, you got to push for this. You got to push for this. And you got to show, the thing is the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in history that when people do this, when people take care of the people doing all the work, your profits will go up. Your business will boom. People will just like being around it, or go like, what's going on here? So you just got to fight for it. And that's why speaking out your voice is important. I don't trust a guy without calluses. Gee, that's funny. Back when working, I always hired someone who made my job easier. But that's the thing. When I would hire people, I would take them in when they were meeting the team, and I said, I want to be the stupid. If I'm the smartest guy in the room, I've hired the wrong team. I said, I have no problem being the dumbest guy in the room. I think you are all talented in different ways, and I don't want to exceed what your specialty in. The reason I hired you, whether it's charisma or a joke or computers or production, I said, I will defer to you. You can always defer to me and ask me, you know, and guys would stay after and stay long and already punched out to learn shit that I could teach them. But I learned so much from my guy or my people, because there were women too. And that's the best way to do it, you know? But enough of that. I gotta go, man. I've been on here forever. You guys got me off the news. You got me way off the news talking about I am not cut out for management, Gmon. That's the issue. Because management, again, they just want somebody to implement and not have to deal with the feedback. But the feedback is the essential part to managing people. And corporate America has sliced and diced that out. They go, yeah, we'll hear what you have to say, but they don't read it. They don't take it into consideration, nothing. Unless it's some shortcut to more profits, they don't want to hear about treating people better. Because I said, you want to get bigger profits, bigger revenues, you want people to greet people all the time, guess what? Pay them better. That's it. Look at history. When people were paid more and had their work week shortened and no loss of pay, profits went up. This is historical. This has already happened in America. When they went from the 7 to 5 day work week with no cut in pay, profits went up and a whole bunch of other benefits happened. So it's like, it's historical, but we have too much greed, too much excess, too many people fighting the culture war. But the thing is that if you want to walk into a shop and have everyone greet you and feel like it's awesome, then make those people feel awesome. Pay them enough where they can rent a place and not struggle, where they're not facing eviction, where they're not going to a second job after here. They're not, you know what I mean? Like, they're not wondering where their next meal is coming from. When people walk in and go, oh, wow, why does it feel stressed out? Why does it feel depressed in here? It's like, because you're creating that, because you're paying the minimum wage and nobody can live on that. It's simple, basic shit. So sorry, Gma. So I'm not cut out for management. I'm cut out to speak out for the people. And that's it. Gma, have a great weekend. Igor, have an amazing weekend. Thank you guys for staying with me. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Much love. No neck J. I don't know what that means, but hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm here every single weekday bringing you news, commentary. I'm Rob. Peace. Much love. Your voice is important. Speak up. We can change the society. We have the power. We just need to organize. Okay? Later.